Hi and welcome to the channel. This is a new channel. I'm going to be looking at Rift at the moment for my first video, and it's just an introduction to the game for anybody who hasn't discovered it yet. I used to play WoW a lot, and I've dabbled with other roleplay games like Guild Wars 2 and things like that, but for some reason Rift seems to be my favourite. I'll go over some of the reasons throughout this video. But as I said, this is for people who haven't discovered it yet or are maybe just considering it. I'm just going to go through the starter area for this first video and just introduce some of the concepts of the game. If you've already played Rift and you're familiar with it, then you may not find this video that interesting, or you may even want to watch it and then correct me or something if I've made any mistakes. But anyway, this game's pretty good. It's definitely, in my opinion, better than WoW nowadays. There are just so many things about it that make the gameplay more interesting and more fun. But anyway, let's just get straight into it. I already have quite a few characters. This thing down here is a shard, and it basically means server. So there are different servers, and as you can see, I have different characters on different servers. But I'm just going to start a character from scratch. You can create, I think, around 6 characters, on each shard. And the first thing you want to do is you want to decide which side you're going to be on. It's very similar to lots of other roleplay games in that respect. You can choose Guardians, who are very spiritual, or Defiance, which are very technological. But that doesn't really affect gameplay at all, just the story. So for the sake of this one, we'll just go straight into Guardians. You can pick your own race from each different side. So we've got humans, I guess, elves and dwarves, and each one of them has their own characteristics. Actually, they have their own resistances down here, but then they have like a unique ability. So this one, Motivational Raw, increases your movement speed. This one, which is the one I'm going to choose, is Angelic Flight, because it's just a little bit of it's not fast travel, but it boosts you forward a little bit in the starting part of the game. And this one restores health and mana, which I never normally use, so I'm just going to go straight for this one. I'm not going to worry about how he looks on the next screen, but this part's pretty important. So it's important to note that I don't have any of the expansions. So if you're starting this game for the first time, one of the reasons why you might be attracted to it is because it's free to play. And it is. You can buy the expansions. Like I say, you can buy the Dream Soul pack or the Primalist Calling pack. That's why that's grayed out. And that's why the healer, support and tank classes are in red, because we don't have the Dream Soul pack. You can get these credits just from playing the game for a long time, but you can also buy them with real money. So let's have a look at the classes. Pretty standard with most MMORPGs. You can pick Rogue, Warrior, Cleric or Mage. The Warrior is predominantly a tank or damage. You can also go support. Support isn't as important in groups as the primary roles, which I can maybe talk about later. But either way, damage and tank for a rogue, tank and damage for a warrior. You can be a healer without any of the expansions. You can be a healer with either the cleric or the mage. The cleric is really versatile because you can play a healer or a tank, which makes them really in demand in a lot of groups. But the mage is pretty good for a healing class as well. The rogue tank class is cool because it's you can basically just blink around the battlefield, which is pretty cool. As I say, for this one, I think I'm going to go for a mage, just because I think they're quite easy to level up. So are clerics, actually. So I'm just going to click mage just for the sake of this video. This is a predetermined set of skills in the skill tree, which you can choose. It really makes absolutely no difference because you can change these right at the beginning, so you can just pick any you want, but it just gives you some ideas if you're new to the game. I'm going to go for Gravelord because it's more similar to what I'm going to do anyway. You can change a lot of the aspects of your character, from hair, facial features and different colours and markings, similar to other games, but I'm just going to try and think of let's just say a tester character. I'm just going to name him that. No one else will have that name. I won't watch the starting video, but you can watch that, and it just gives you an introduction to the world you're going to be entered into.
Use the WASD keys to move your character. W is for...
So as you can see, the introduction now and the tutorial is fully voiced. which is cool, and you'll get little pop-ups throughout the start of the game, or even throughout the game in general, and it'll be voiced for the most part. These things that are popping up here are just to do with how long I've played the game, so they kind of give you rewards for playing the game, and you'll get like items and money and things like that. Grant you the title, so grant you titles if you're interested in that stuff. One of the first things I always do when I start the game is I always go into the key bindings,
You can customize your keyboard.
which it tells you about, and I always scroll down to where it gives the equals here. This is basically my main action bar, and I always use my little finger to hit that button instead of using equals, so I just do that. And then settings, there are lots of different settings you can choose from to change. Miscellaneous, I always go to let's see, what do I do? Auto loop by default, which I think in WoW it does that anyway. Then I go to combat, and I always change the cast on target's target. That's good for when you're in groups. Action bars, I always change this from short to full, and that just means you can queue up actions, which you can't actually do on WoW, I don't think. I tried playing WoW again for the first time the other day, and I couldn't really get into it again. There were too many things I didn't like. But that's not to say that you don't like WoW. I used to love WoW. But anyway, I find Rift just far more interesting. I think it's much better. These icons mean that there's a quest available. Obviously, if you're into the roleplay aspect of it, you can read these and find out what you got to do, but you can just look at the summary and the objective part, and it tells you, and then you gain some XP and silver. So looking at these skills on the action bar, obviously some of them I'm going to change. If you press N on the keyboard, it brings up the skill tree, which is called the soul tree in Rift, because all of these are different souls that you can adopt, and because you can adopt 3 souls, and then when you level up, unlike WoW I've noticed nowadays, you can actually choose where you want to put your points, and that can give you different abilities. So combining 3 of them just means that there's so many different choices for how you can create your character, whereas when I was playing WoW I noticed that I was just given skills at certain periods of time. But anyway, so yeah, so for this one you can choose your different souls. There are different souls to choose, like a Harbinger, which is a melee class for a mage, Dominator, Warlock. For this class that I'm going to do now, I'm just going to pick a Warlock because it goes well with the Necromancer class. And over here, Pyromancer is a high DPS class, which is great actually for when you're in dungeons and raids. But for the sake of this, Chloromancer is the healing class. You see, I could combine the Chloromancer with another soul. So I could look for a soul that does maybe air damage or life damage, which actually none of them do. That does air damage, and you do air damage in that. So you could combine those 3, or you could combine Stormcaller in there as well, so you can see that you could just be so different from another player, whereas I found in WoW, I guess I was thinking I'm just going to be exactly like a million other people out there, so it doesn't give me any sort of feeling that I'm unique, whereas in this you can combine different things. For this one, I might just do Archon, just because it gives you a damage over time spell at the beginning, so that'll work nicely with my damage over times for these 2 souls. And it's a good way to level up quite quickly. I've got 1 skill point to spend already. I'm going to spend the majority of my skills in the Necromancer soul, so I'll press that. When I get 1 more soul point, I'll have 2, and that'll give me another damage over time, so I'm just going to save that. And then I can press P. This brings up our abilities. So for Necromancer, I've already got that on the bar. I mean, I would tidy this up later on, but for this starting area I'm not really that concerned. So it doesn't really matter what's there. I'm going to put my angelic flight on there so I can move around a bit quicker. That's got cast time, so I'll put that first. I don't know why it appears twice, but that's Searing Vitality is our damage over time, and we're going to pick up some damage over times for the Necromancer and the Warlock. I might as well summon my pet. So this is a Skeletal Zealot, so it's a DPS pet. I think in about 6 or 7 levels time I'm going to get my tank pet, and that makes it a bit easier because you don't aggro. So for the starting area, you can see from the minimap up here that I've got to speak to this person over here on the minimap, and you can see her over there. What I normally do is just kill anything that's in my way, because it's a good way to level up quite quickly. Plus he's going to be doing damage. I'm just going to see how it's queuing up, like on the action bar at the bottom you can see when I cast a spell I cast another one, and a blue dot's going around it to show that it's queued up. And the great thing about this class is you don't have to focus too much on one NPC. Just attack all of them. They'll just all gradually die around me. But I've just noticed my health, so maybe I'm getting a bit too excited. So yeah, anyway, they'll hopefully die by the time we get them anyway. Thankfully I've got a pet, it needs a little bit of encouragement to die, so... Yeah, you heard the heartbeat there, I think, and that just means you're low in health. And that's... So we've handed that in, and we've leveled up, and we've got a soul point to spend, and we've been given another quest. This little question mark responded to the fact that I was losing health. You click loot, it didn't bring up the loot window simply because I've got auto loot enabled. So my quest now that you can see over here, you can change what you've got tracked over here. By pressing L, it gives you a list of all of the quests. So you can see my quest that's tracked over here is just saying I've got to kill these things that are in front of me. I got a skill point, so I'm going to press N, which will take me into the soul tree. I'll put another point in there, and then the secondary soul tree, you can see as you get a certain level, as you meet a certain level, you get given skills. So it's kind of like when I was playing WoW, it's kind of like this part, but they don't have this part where you can really edit what you want to do. You can really shape it into the character you want. They just give you this part and say, yeah, when you get to level 4, you're going to get this, and 8, you're going to get this. So yeah, I didn't like that. So for this one, Necrosis, that's going to be a new damage over time spell. So I save it, and it brings it up here in front of me, and I can pop that down onto my action bar. So now I need to kill these things. I only need to kill 4, but I'm going to kill quite a few. And now I've got an extra damage over time spell. They should definitely not be still alive after the dots finish in the melee. Alright, there was a gravestone in front of me, so it wasn't. And then later on you can just, I mean, if you go into the menu, you can, into the key bindings, you can change it so that you can tab even through non-threatening NPCs. So these have all got yellow above the head, which means that they're not going to attack me unless I attack them. If they had green above the head like that, it means that they're allies or friendlies. And obviously if they've got red above their heads, it means that they're enemies. And at the moment I'm not really that bothered about messing around with the key bindings. But when I get to the area where everybody's got red above their head, I can just tab through the enemies and start putting damage over time spells on everybody. Angelic Flight, you just press the little button now and it takes you forward. Leveled up again. You level up really quickly at the start of this game. But by killing everything in front of you, you can increase the speed in which you level up. Again, I've got 2 points here, so if I put a point in here, it gives me 3, but if I put another one, it tells me I can't spend any more points in the soul until you level up, which means I've got a point to spend in one of the other 2. So for the sake of this one, I'm going to put the points into Life Leech, because it's one of my primary spells that I'm using. Plus, if I get 2 points in here, I get another damage over time spell there. So let's save that. So really what that's done there is just strengthened my damage spells. You can see that my combat buffs up here, these 2 have been given to me because of just the game, but this one here is my second action ability, Searing Vitality. Deals damage over time, but it also applies endurance stacks to me, maximum 5 stacks. So you see I've got 5 stacks of 1 endurance. And as you level up, you can focus on that skill if you want, and it'll increase endurance by 2, all the way to I think 5 per stack, which means endurance increases by 25 overall.
Quest-related objects in the world have sparkles, right?
So you can see it's just saying I need to collect these swords. You can also collect them from these knights, so I'm just going to kill these knights because I want to get experience anyway. And just going to hold my left mouse button, and it just moves the camera around. And I'm just going to kill as many of these. Is he going to die anytime? Yeah, he's on his way out. Right, so now I should finish this quest just by picking all these up. Yeah, so they were all holding swords, so I don't need to collect those. But as I run through the game, I'm just going to stick damage over time spells on everybody, because it is good just to kill everything in your path, and you can level up really quickly. You can see on the minimap I'm just going to move towards my next quest target, so it gives you a little golden arrow. I'm in combat, which means I couldn't use my angelic flight, but I need to move in this direction, and if I can put it on the ground there, that's angelic flight. I always use that just because sometimes it's easier to reach places that you can't normally reach as well, on the odd chance. Come the wrong way there, I usually come that other way. So you can see that's someone who I'm going to hand the quest into.
Do not give in.
So you can, on this one, I'm going to get both of these. Sometimes you have to choose. And the great thing that I think is missing again from WoW, I don't know if you can change it, is you can just mouse over something and it shows you the benefits of having it in green, and it would be in red if it was worse for me, if it was detrimental to the character. So I'm going to press B and open my bags, finish that.
Enhances your character's statistics.
She just tells you about it. Again, it's voiced, which is really cool. And I'm just going to right click and that'll just activate, equip that sword. And then over here you can see this person's got general goods underneath them, so we can click on this. Great thing about it, again, I think it's missing from WoW or something, is this button down here, which just sells anything that's useless. This greatsword is in green, and later on you can get a trade skill called rune crafting, and you can rune break any magical items, which are green, blue, purple, orange, and so on. I never really use those health vials, and that's in white, which means it's not really useful, so I can just get rid of that as well.
Let us trade again someday.
Right, so now our new quest, you can see on the minimap it's highlighted the area because I'm tracking it. I've got to kill these ardent horrors, Ardenberg horrors, and I need 5 of them. But again, the great thing about the necromancer class is you just damage over time everybody, and you can just destroy everything, and you just level up really quickly as well. Again, I suppose you got to keep an eye on your health, but at the beginning, only at the beginning of the game. But as you level up, you get more powerful, and you can equip endurance items as well, which means you're far more difficult to kill. Just gonna loot all these. Right, so you can see on the minimap now, that's a vendor, that's a mailbox. There's the healer, which I don't need yet, and there's our quest. Gonna give our quest in there. You can see under here, well you could anyway, when there's an enemy, with this particular character class, you apply a passive sort of disease to him. I'll show you that in a second. So for example, if I just attack this guy over here, for this one it's Deathly Calling, and you apply those stacks, and then you can spend charge over here. At the moment I've got 100 charge, and you can do extra damage to them. So that's something you can learn just from looking through the skills in the soul tree. Different characters have different things that they, so for example the warlock, who is another class of mine, doesn't have Deathly Calling. It's specific to the necromancer. The warlock will have something else. Right, so we've got to pray at this altar to complete this quest, and then it shows you that over here, quest items, so that's referring to this item over here, which will also be in my abilities. No it won't. No, it won't be in my abilities, but you can either go to your, so this is my current quest, use the dwarven hammer on deathbound thralls. I thought it gave you it in here, but it doesn't, but it does give you it up here when you're tracking it, so I can just drag that down to my quest bar. Deathbound thrall, so let's press 4. There's another one, and there's no cooldown on it, so I'll just use it quite quickly and highlight the other one. There's another one that's almost dead. There's another one. Oh, that's, oh right, sorry, I only needed to kill 3, I thought it was 4. So that quest's complete, so that is not required anymore. And we can just go and turn this quest in. Again, it's decent to read all this if you're interested in the roleplay aspect of the game. Just tell you real quick, you've got the chat channels down here. So typical to all of the others as well, you can just press the / and then you can put different. Can't remember some of these now, but you can sort of shout or say and things like that. Again, it changes that. or you can put a number in, and as you can see there, look, number 4, level 1 to 29, so I could put 4 and it changes it to level 1 to 29, and then you can, I mean, it's the same as a lot of other MMORPGs. This is the Rift Store, where you can buy pretty much everything, and I think that's where they'll probably make a lot of their money, because it's a free-to-play game. So you can download, you can buy the DLCs. There's the Primus Call pack, which, like I say, you can buy from in-game credits, which you don't necessarily have to buy. Or you can, there's lots of other stuff you can buy as well, equipment. So anyway, so the next quest. Oh, also, I'll just show you really quickly now. If you want to look for a group, for example, which you can't do until you get to level 15, I think it is. When you get to level 15, you're eligible for the first dungeon. Specific dungeons, you can click that and it tells you exactly what dungeons you can go into and what level you need to be. And the Realm of the Fae is the first dungeon, so starting from level 15. And you've got Iron Tomb and so on and so forth. And there are a lot of dungeons. In fact, it's from there to there. You go Temple of Anang. Then you've got Expert Dungeons and Storm Legion Expert Dungeons, so you've got different ones here. And as you level up, you'll be eligible to join those dungeons, and you can choose what role you're going to play. At the moment, because of the abilities that I've chosen, I'm only eligible to play as a damage dealer. But as I put points in other souls, so for example, if I go down here to the soul, I can buy a new role, which is only 30 gold, and I have 2 already. So you can actually buy a second and a third role very easily in the game. You can also use credits if you've got any. But you can just use in-game money, and it's quite cheap. And you can buy new roles, so you could effectively have a tank role, a damage role, and a healing role, and you can just change them based on what role you're playing in the dungeon. So yeah, I could join a group. It won't let me because I'm not the correct level. It says no dungeon selected because I can't actually select one, I'm not high enough. But you can join a group, and then it'll just put a little logo underneath your minimap saying that you're in the group, and then you just wait. Same for PvP, which is K on the keyboard, but it won't let me press it because I'm not high enough level to join anything. So same for PvP, you can just join the group and just let it tick away, and when a group comes up, it'll send you a message telling you you're ready to join. Which again, you know, I didn't think I noticed that from. I didn't really look for that in WoW when I was playing it, but. Oh, so the bar above my action bar there, the blue bar, is my experience, and as you can see, I just leveled up again. So I'm gonna put a point. You know, I've got 2 points to spend. I think I can spend them both in Warlock, but what I'll do is I'll only spend 1 in Warlock. Sorry, Necromancer, and I'll put 1 in Warlock to get that extra damage over time spell there. It does mean that my tank pet, I'll have to wait an extra level up, but it doesn't make any difference. So now I've got these 2 skills. So I'll just pop them in. That's another damage over time spell, so that'll come in handy. So what I've got to do is I've got to collect Source Stone Cores. This is a book, so it's just a collectible. And you can go into it like a journal, and it'll show you what you've collected, just in case you're interested in reading up on the world and getting involved in the lore, finding more about it. So I've got to get those cores. I'm just also going to apply damage over time spells to everything again. And hopefully not die, because these guys are, you know, a little bit stronger. Just looking around. There's another one. I'll just do the same for this one. We've got another message telling us about something.
That you obtain will automatically be placed in the quest bag.
Yeah, so I just noticed I didn't equip that new robe. Alright, we've got 1 more Source Stone we need to get. It doesn't normally take this long. You can normally, oh, there you go, picked it up off. Yeah, so you can pick them up off the bodies there, which I think is why it hasn't normally taken me that long, because I normally just kill everything and loot. And the experience, there you go, so he's dead, and that's who I need to speak to over there. There was a time, you can see from those red books on the minimap, that this is my my class trainer, so mage trainer. In here, when you speak to him, you can reset your souls if you want to start again. It's free the first time, but then you have to pay in-game money for it. Purchase a new role. You can do both of those from the from this screen here, what you press N to get to. buy new role and reset. So that kind of makes these mage trainers and warrior trainers, whatever class you are, pretty useless, I think. Maybe they come in more useful later on, but certainly in the starter area it's useless. I've got 2 bags here that I haven't equipped yet. So you equip them, you can see they just go there. I've got a new pair of shoes, so I'm just going to equip them. And again, you can just see on the minimap here there's a little money icon, like a little pile of gold. I'm just going to sell any grey items I've got, and those are in white, as is that, so I'm just going to get rid of them. I'll keep hold of that because I can rune break it later on if I go for the rune. I forget the name of it now. But I can rune break it later if I get that skill. I need to kill 2 rogues, 2 soldiers and 2 sorcerers. So we'll start with this rogue right in front of us. And then we've got these things, which are the deathbound necromancers, which are not part of our quest, but you can kill them anyway, just for a laugh and for extra experience. So that's a soldier I'm attacking there, but there's a sorcerer just stood there, so another soldier. Skeletons are not attacking. These things you can attack. This thing in the middle, these things used to be elites. You could still take it down with a necromancer, because I guess the necromancer was just a little bit overpowered with his pet and whatnot, and I'm getting hammered here actually, so I think it's, yeah, because I've got one of these on us, so I'm not actually going to continue with that. Or am I? Yes, I think I will, because my pet's just gone in. He's on aggressive, I guess he's attacking everything I'm attacking, so even though I cancelled my attack order, he's still gone for it. He isn't automatically attacking, thankfully, so my health's gone up, but it doesn't really matter. He wouldn't kill me anyway, because they go down too quickly, but they used to be elites, so they used to be a bit more dangerous. There's another rogue, but we need one more rogue, so I'll just put damage over time on him. I suppose it's good as well to loot everything, because then you can get extra gold and stuff. But it's not really that important, I don't find. So the only thing now I need is an extra sorcerer, and there's one. I was completely forgetting to put that extra dot on her as well, damage over time, so. I'm just gonna do it to everybody just for a bit of extra experience. But they're putting damage over times on me as well. Luckily I've leveled up, so your health bar completely refills when you level up, thankfully. He must have resisted that one. And for some reason I have no idea why he didn't die. Anyway, whatever, we'll go and hand these in now. Just click that off. I'm gonna spend those points in a second. So I'll turn this quest in. So the starting area is really not that challenging, it's just an introduction to the game as you'd expect from any other roleplay game. I don't have gloves, so I didn't bring up an extra. So that one there is a chain item. Well, I'm a mage, so I can't wear chain, I can only wear cloth, so that's only good for the cleric or a warrior. But for me it's no good, so again, these 2 items are no good. I'm just going to rune break them later on to increase my skill in rune breaking. Rune crafting, I should say. So my new quest, I've just got to do a pointless little run over here and kneel at this thing. It really gets you involved, like you oh, there we go, never mind, forget about that. It's zipped me a bit to do this quest. So what we need to do is unlock this guy, disable this machine, which will unlock this, and then we fight this thing. Deathly Calling, I could use this skill and it just explodes everything on him, kills him instantly, and there's a cooldown. This is a named character which you'll come into contact with 2 or 3 times if you pay any attention to the story as you play the game. Sometimes I don't, I end up not really paying attention to the story and then I just play through. But it is good, I suppose, if you get immersed in the world as well, it makes the game all that much more better. Right, so that'll give us some leggings, which will increase our intelligence and whatnot. This is going to send us flying down here. Can't control this thing, it just sends you back to the starting area. Daily rewards, you have claimable daily rewards, left click to open the daily rewards. You get little things each day just as incentives to log in and play, which I think is great. Again, there was just nothing like this. I didn't think when I was playing WoW. I could be wrong, I'm not an expert on WoW anymore, I used to play it a long time ago, but there was just nothing to get me to log back in again. Oh, I think there was actually. I think it said, oh yeah, log in tomorrow for this, or I don't know. But anyway, it contains all wood, plants and appropriate day level, so click that, and it gives us that. So these are materials that you collect, basically, that you can farm in the world. Yeah, so these things here are like flowers and stuff which you get from your foraging skill. Same with the wood, same with all of these things actually, it's all from the foraging. Oh no, yes, copper ore is not, that's from mining, and so is the stones here from mining. But yeah, that'd be useful if I pick that particular tree. You can use an auction house in this game.
We are the might of the gods. For the vigil.
Just turning that in. So it's got an auction house, same as WoW and everything else. So for this one, again, I've got another quest item that I need to use, so I'm just going to put that in the action bar. In the distance, you can see the one of the namesakes of the game here, the Rift. So that's a Death Rift. That means it's going to be spawning enemies that from the planes of death. You get different ones, you get elemental ones as well, like fire, water, air, earth, and you get life as well, so life and death. That one doesn't actually spawn anything, it's just it's part of our quest, our final quest as we leave the beginning, the starting area. So it just has a couple of enemies on there that we need to fight. There are people who probably play these roleplay games all the time. They spend a lot more time on them than I do. So, I mean, I have no doubt people watching this might actually say, oh, it's better to do this or that, and that's great. I mean, you could let me know if you could in the comments or something, just because I don't play it that often, and I probably should play it a bit more because it is really good. I just need to put this in the stable.
You will defeat the dragons.
So level 7. You might not necessarily have leveled up this quickly if you've just gone through and completed the quests, but as you kill things in front of you, you just get experience, which you might as well have. I don't think I spent the points last time, so I've got 3 points now. So I'll put a point in this one, which takes me up to the next level. This increases our the strength of our necrosis, which was one of our main damage over time, so I'm just going to put a point in there. This one here, ghostly power, you and your pet's attacks ignore 2% of target's armor resistance, which is good as well, obviously. Now I would have had my tank pet, I think, by now, if I'd not spent that other point in Warlock, but it makes no difference because we're going to catch it up anyway. So I'll save that. And we'll just, there's another necromancer, and that'll just tell me.
You've targeted a friendly player. Right-click the portrait to send private messages, or invite to group with you.
Okay, so I'm on a mount now. To be honest, it makes no difference. I was going to say, you know, if I attack anybody, I'll lose the mount, but I'm only going there. Over here, sometimes you get like a rare enemy, so it'll have like a blue on these ones. You can see. What is it? I think if it's a rare enemy, it has like a blue thing around here, so like a blue diamond. But yeah, so that's one thing I've noticed about Rift. There are a few more people playing it these days, so it's obviously becoming more popular. There were times when I would log on or start a new character and there'd be just nobody starting with me. It'd be a bit lonely, but yeah, there's always new people on here now. Oh, there you go. So elites have got these sort of dagger and these bloody spikes around the portrait. That's an elite, not a rare. You come across elites quite often. Come across elite in a minute because Regulus, the main antagonist, appears and he's got the elite symbols around him. So we'll just have a quick look at this. I don't actually have any combat buffs, I don't think. So there's damage. Yeah, I don't have any buffs at the moment. So we'll just start. I haven't got my pet summoned, but that's not a fatal mistake at this point in time because it's the beginning of the game. It's quite easy. So now I can just tab through these, and because I've got red above their heads, obviously they'll just attack me. he resisted necrosis, so we'd reapply that. When I've got my tank pet summoned, then obviously I can send him into these, and I won't aggro all these, so I can just apply these spells to them, and I won't lose health so quickly. And therefore endurance is not really that important. If you're a warlock character, endurance is usually pretty important because you apply damage over time spells as well as other spells, and that means you're aggroing all of the bad guys and they're coming straight for you. So endurance is pretty important for a warlock. So if I was to start putting more points in warlock and just have the necromancer and the archon as the support class, then I would need to start worrying about endurance. I think it tells you that anyway if you mouse over it.
This? Did I not
No, it doesn't.
before?
But it does give you that information later on.
The gods brought us back to destroy you, tyrant. Your gods cannot stand against the dragon of extinction.
One of the bad guys, I think. You find out as it goes through. Oh, I guess he turns into... So this dragon's going to possess him, which will give... which will make a kind of hybrid. And so Regulus is the main antagonist in the game. At least up until as far as this free-to-play is concerned. Obviously there are expansions and that will introduce new bad guys and stuff. Down here you can just see there, it's quite easy to see whether or not you've got lag. It's green at the moment, which means it's running perfectly, but if that goes to yellow or red, it means you've got latency or lag problems, so you need to worry about that. Over here, this is when you're involved in a group or a group event or something like that, or when you're destroying rifts in the world and things like that. You get planar items and rewards which help you for those types of conflicts. So when you're doing like PvE quests and you just want to quest alone, you'll get obviously rewards which go into your personal bag and things like that. But then, yeah, these things here, these are rewards which increase your efficiency in fighting rift creatures and stuff that appear throughout the world. I'm just looting them as well. It tells you here what I got. Cloth. So you can see he's also got a skull here, which means he's far too difficult. But for the sake of the starting area, it just makes him quite easy. Join public group. That means there's another guy in the area. There he is. There are two others. So now we're all in a group, and it's as simple as that. You don't have to ask, or you don't have to invite and then possibly be rejected and crap like that. You just click join group, and then that's it. You're in a group. You can see he's got a little crown above his head. That meant he's the leader of the group.
Your sacrifice has saved Talara from destruction. The world is still in peril. See now, through prophetic eyes. The brood stirs.
And again, I'll just click past that, but you can obviously you can watch it when you play it. So we've come away from the starter area now. It's still kind of the starter area because you know it's quite easy, but it introduces you gradually to new things. The world becomes a lot more interesting. So this is actually the real world now, I think. Yeah, so you can see it's a pretty big world as well. I mean, we're tiny in comparison there, so there is a large map to explore in Rift. And even this isn't the end. I think there's more than this as well. But with the dungeons as well, I mean, it just takes you, you know, there's just plenty to keep you busy for absolutely ages, just like any other roleplay game. The thing that I kind of like about this game is for dungeons and things like that, when you get involved in a dungeon, you have a specific role. You might do as I mean, I'm comparing this to WoW a lot, but it's just because I played WoW again the other day to try and get back into it, and I really couldn't. But I did get involved in a dungeon, and I just literally just got swept through the dungeon. I felt like I didn't have any involvement. I wasn't relevant. You know, everyone else kind of went through the group, and I was just running after them, and it was just rubbish. It was so boring. But in Rift, it's nothing like that. You have a specific role that you've got to carry out, and each role is really important to the group. And if one person's kind of not doing what they need to be doing, with the exception of damage a little bit, I mean, obviously it just takes you much longer to kill the bad guys if you're not doing if you're not hitting the damage. But yeah, so every single role, including damage, is just so important to the role. And if somebody's not doing what they need to do, then the group will suffer. And so when you complete the dungeon, you really feel like you've contributed, and it's great. Yeah, it's just much more fun. And like I say, you can play different roles as well. You know, you can change. So this one here, you know, I can just call this PVE. But when I buy my next role, I can call it healer, and I can focus on a chloromancer and stuff like that. And with the mage, if I buy the extra expansion, I can buy the tank class, and it'll give me a new soul to choose from. So when you buy the expansion, you'll be able to scroll down here because there'll be 2 extra souls on here. And each soul will have all of these different potential skill points to spend, which basically just opens up countless new possibilities when it comes to character creation. Anyway, so we can turn our quest in here. We're coming to the end of this particular video just because I wanted to show you the starting area when you play the game. Just gonna have that one. But one thing I will just show you again, if I've forgotten anything, you know, I apologise. Over here we can see there's a little bubble above her head with this. It's got a little speech bubble in there. That just means we need to talk to her. She'll give us a tutorial, which you can watch when you play through, and we just need to click on that, and that'll finish the quest. And we can see we've got one over here as well. So yeah, the game is it's a really interesting world. The one thing that's missing from it that I think I loved, it really dragged me into the online role-playing games when I was younger, was the druid class, which is a shape-shifting class. There is a druid class in this, but it is related to nature, but you can't shapeshift or anything like that, which is a shame, because I love shapeshifters for some reason. So yeah, as you go around here, you'll start seeing other enemies kicking around, and they'll have like a little yellow circle next to their name. As we go a little bit closer, see like a little yellow circle next to their name. That just means that opens up a new quest. So when you kill one of them, it'll say, right, you need to kill 10 of them, and that's just a new quest. So anyway, this is going to mark the end of this particular video, because this is just the start of the video. If there was anything I missed out, if you have any questions and you haven't played Rift before, and you want to ask me something, feel free to leave a message in the comments. This channel has 1 video now, so there isn't a massive incentive to subscribe, but I'm hoping to add more videos onto this channel. The games are going to be roleplay, strategy, things like that, so if you want to subscribe, that'd be great. Alright, thanks, and I'll see you next time.